Hello everyone. So LeetCode has given us another question involving the word rotate. So basically, we're given an m cross n matrix, and we have within that matrix only three characters allowed: a stone, an obstacle, and an empty element. So this particular grid box is rotated 90 degrees clockwise, causing some of the stones to fall due to gravity. And each stone falls down until it lands on an obstacle, another stone, or the bottom of the box. So basically, we are given stones and obstacles, and other elements are empty within my box, and I am rotating this box 90 degrees clockwise. And what is happening due to gravity? These obstacles, they remain in the same positions, right? This obstacle was here, and after rotating 90 degrees, it came here, these came here, right? But the stones are falling on obstacles. So either a stone can fall on another stone, like in this particular case, this is falling on this only, right? Or a stone can fall on an obstacle, like in this case, or a stone, if there is no obstacle, if this wouldn't have been here, then this stone would have fallen at the bottom. Okay, so they have written that the stone either lands on an obstacle, another stone, or the bottom of the box. Gravity does not affect the obstacle's positions, and the inertia from the box rotation does not affect the stone's horizontal positions. So the only positions that are affected uh, is that of a stone. The only position that is affected is that of a stone. Okay, it either falls on an obstacle, it either falls on a stone, or it either falls at the bottom, depending upon, if there would not be any obstacle, then it would be falling in the bottom, right? It would be, if this wouldn't have been here, these two would be falling here and here. Okay, so it is guaranteed that each stone rests on an obstacle, another stone, or the bottom of the box. Now we have to return an n cross m matrix representing the box after the rotation described above. So let's understand through this example. So here we are given the grid, and this grid after the 90-degree rotation becomes this. Okay, so we know that if I observe this particular row, then this stone is going to fall in the bottom, right? So we can see that this is the stone we are talking about. When I rotated this matrix, this grid 90 degrees clockwise, then this row actually became this column, and this stone came here. So this stone shifted towards its right to the last obstacle that it could see, right? Now this became the last obstacle, because for this particular stone, this has to fall on something, right? So it can either fall on an obstacle, but there is no obstacle between these two positions. Okay, so basically, this stone came here, it fell here. This particular stone, however, will fall here. This stone will fall here, and this stone will fall here. So the last four positions are going to be filled with stones. So while traversing a particular row, what I can do is, for every row, there would be a last obstacle which will be in the nth column. N being an nth imaginary column, right? So this is my last obstacle. So I'll traverse my row from the back, and I'll encounter here an empty thing, right? There's nothing here. So I'll simply traverse here, and I can see that there is a stone. So whenever there is a stone, this stone is going to shift to the last obstacle minus one-th column, right? This particular stone is going to shift here. How do we know that? Because the last obstacle was here, right? So just before the last obstacle. So the last obstacle's position was actually, the column was actually 6, right? And when I encountered a stone, the new position of this stone would be the same row, that is 2, but a different column, a column which is one less than the obstacles column, right? So it will become 2 comma 5, right? We can see here. So this particular stone is going to come here at 2 comma 5. Now this stone has become a new obstacle, right? So at fifth location, I have the last obstacle. Then I'll come here, I'll have changed this particular stone to an empty element. Then I'll come here, this is empty. Then I'll come here and I'll have my another stone. Now this stone is going to fall over the last obstacle. The last obstacle was at fifth position, right? This is now empty, and this has become here, and this particular stone has come here in the fifth column. So now this particular stone is going to fall on the fourth column, right? Similarly, now my last obstacle will come at fourth position, and this particular stone will fall at the third location, and then this particular stone will come at the second position. So based on last obstacle, all of my stones are falling over that last obstacle, right? So what I'm doing here is I am first of all applying the gravity situation, the gravity operation first, and then rotating the actual answer, right? So when I do that in this particular matrix, what will I get? I am done with all the gravity operations and my matrix becomes this. After my stones are done falling, they come here and rest here, right? So I have my matrix, but now it's not rotated by 90 degrees clockwise, right? So we'll observe here how to do that. This particular row in my matrix is actually this particular column, right, in the answer matrix. This row is actually this column, and this row is actually this column. So we can see that first of all we'll have to exchange rows and columns, so we'll have to create a transpose of this matrix. So let's do that. This particular column has now become this row, this column has now become this row, this column is now this row, and likewise. So all the rows and columns are now interchanged, and I have created a transpose. How will I do that? It's simple. I'll simply create an answer grid, and we'll simply do box grid of ij equal to the answer grid of ji, right? So making a transpose is easy, but I know that I do not have to just create a transpose. I have to actually rotate it by 90 degrees. So for rotating it, I know that what's difference between my answer matrix currently and my actual answer, right? So when I rotate it 90 degrees, my rows and columns are interchanged, but what happens is my ith and n minus or mi jth or n minus j minus 1th columns are interchanged as well. So what I mean by this is that this particular row, zeroth row, is becoming the second column, right? The first row is becoming the first column. The third row is becoming the zeroth column. So we can see that the row is becoming a column, and we have made sure that every row is converted into a column. But which column? The row, third row is becoming the first column. So basically the jth row is actually becoming n minus j minus 1th column. Okay, so I'll have to impose that and actually swap the zeroth column with n minus so I'll have to make sure that I swap my jth column with n minus j minus 1th column, right? Because I know what's the difference between these two. This column is actually here, right? All the columns are in reverse. So I'll simply do a swap. So what I'll do is the zeroth column now will become second column, and the last column is actually at the zeroth column, and this is our answer. So let's quickly implement the solution. First of all, I'll take into account the row size and column size. Now I'll be doing my gravity operations, and I'll be traversing from the last column in every row. Why last column? Because my last obstacle has to be taken into account. So the last obstacle initially would be at nth position. That is the bottom, right? So if I encounter an obstacle, then the last obstacle's value is going to change, and it will become that column, right? But if I encounter a stone, then in that case that particular position is actually going to become empty, right? Wherever I found the stone. And the stone is going to fall at one position less than the obstacle. So my box grid of the same row, but last obstacle minus 1 will be filled up with a stone. And now my last obstacle value would be changed to last obstacle minus 1 only. Okay, because that is the new position of my stone. So this is how I will convert, I will do the gravity operations, but now I'll have to do the 90-degree clockwise operation. For that, I'll create a answer matrix. Now this answer matrix is going to be of opposite size, right? Box grid was of m cross n, but this would be of n cross m, because we know that answer in answer a rows and columns would be interchanged. Now I'll traverse my box grid. Okay, by mistake I wrote this. Yeah. So for my answer of ji, I'll have box grid of ij, right? Because I'm calculating the transpose here. Okay, so I've now filled my answer and I have calculated the transpose. But I know that 90-degree clockwise actually means that my jth column would be becoming my n minus j minus 1th column. So I'll be swapping the first and the last columns. So I'll do that. I'll simply swap answer of ij with answer of I m minus 1 minus j, right? And then I'll return my answer. Let's check. Okay. So the time complexity of this solution would be big of n square, because we are traversing the uh, entire box grid, right? And the space complexity would be big of n square as well, because we are utilizing and making another utilizing the space and making another matrix answer, right?